Hey, what's up? This is Bo from Blessthefall, and you're watching Ambi.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from Ambi, and I'd like to welcome you to an interview with Bo from Blessthefall. How are you?
I'm doing great. And just before we get started, I just
Yes.
want to say that we didn't plan this out.
No, not at
We've
all.
never met before, and it was just very random.
I'm glad we're making it work.
But it looks
Look
good,
at
though.
us.
Yeah. Thank
It's a
God the
nice
background
on-screen
isn't
aesthetic.
plaid, or also we'll just blend in.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit too
Yeah.
much. Well, I know that you recently released this new record, To Those Left Behind.
Yep.
So could you just tell our viewers, just to get acquainted a little bit, what was the experience like of creating this new record?
Yeah, every album's different, right?
Yeah.
I think every record that we've done so far has taken a different process, and with this one, it was like we started writing it like over a year ago, like all the music at least, and so it's just crazy. Like you just compile songs from a year of your life, and then you just put them on a CD and you put it out, and there it is. But yeah, we were writing like over a year ago. Eric and Elliot are the guitar players, and they write most of the actual music. And so they've used Logic. It's like a computer program or whatever, and that's like helped our band enormously. So we actually had like 18, 19 songs written for this album, whereas usually we'll write like 11 and then 11 go on the record, and that's it.
Okay.
So we had a lot to choose from, and also I worked with a dude named Eric Ron as a co-writer. For melodies and lyrics, which is a very first for me. Like I usually write everything 100%,
Yeah.
and for this record, we're like, okay, we need to step outside the box. And so it was kind of like bringing in a sixth member rather than going, hey, write my songs for me. It's more like, okay, let's collaborate. Let's see where where I can really take my voice and if we can really make these stories like awesome. So working with a co-writer for that was amazing, and we achieved something we never would have achieved just on our own, so it was awesome.
Was it easier for you to initially kind of let go and let someone else into that creative process?
It was a little weird. We had worked with a couple other people before Eric, and then once we got in with Eric Ron, we were just like, dude, it felt so natural and comfortable, and the melodies we were coming up with together were amazing, and he's awesome because like I'll just put on Drake like and he loves hip hop and he loves R&B and stuff.
Nice.
And so he was like, oh, this is sweet. So we would like vibe out Drake and stuff like before, or like Tovlo.
Oh, awesome.
Like there'd be
Oh, yeah.
there'd be a part of the song I'm like, that straight up sounds like Tovlo. He's like, yes, that's what I was thinking. And so so we had this connection where we understood that we both love other things besides rock and metal. There's like this pop and R&B influence, and you can really, if you listen close, you can really hear that on this record. Like there's a song called "Keep What We Love and Burn the Rest," and it just sounds like an R&B song, which is awesome. It's something that we've never done before, and yeah, we made something special.
I know that you put out this Inspirations Apple playlist, and it had everything from Brand New to the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
I also hold very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, nice,
So were
yeah.
these bands that you were listening to during the creation of this newer album, or have you kind of been a fan of them throughout?
I've been a fan throughout. I've loved both of those bands for a really long time, and but it's funny because like Delouse, that record, that Mars Volta record, for some reason, whenever I start writing a new album or whenever I started writing, that record is on repeat. Like
It's your go-to.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why. I think it's just the melodies that Cedric comes up with are just absolutely insane, and so it really helps me kind of start thinking outside of the box. And I actually got the little side note. I got to meet him at Coachella,
Oh, nice.
and I didn't get to like fan out. I was just like.
Keep it together.
Our kids were hanging out together, and it was just such a surreal moment because he's like one of my inspirations, you know what I mean? And it was super cool, and so I got to, and that was right around when I started really, really like getting that record going again,
Yeah.
and so that was really cool.
Oh, that's great
Little
timing.
cool note there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Another neat thing I actually found out about is that a lot of the record is influenced by horror films. And you can
Yeah.
definitely feel that, like,
Yeah.
that undertone throughout the whole thing. How did that start with you, and what are some of your favorites?
Oh man, I have a lot of favorites, but let's talk about last year. Like a movie like It Follows was like a kind of in a way an inspiration, and when you get that like just the feeling and the creepy eerie vibe you get from watching these movies can make you write a certain way, and that was one of my favorites from last year, and it was just so like unconventional. It was kind of like an old school throwback. You couldn't really tell what era it was in at first. You're like, is this in the 60s and the 70s? Is this current? Like, I think she's on a tablet right now. I don't know. I can't tell. You know what I mean? So, like, I love that movie. But, and, like, just recently got into American Horror Story.
Yes.
And I feel so guilty for waiting so long because it's amazing. And me and my wife binge watched the first 3 seasons of it. Like,
wow.
We were addicted. And so a lot of that is funny because, like, the first season, like the haunted house one, I can't remember what it's called.
I forget what it's called.
But yeah, the first season about that, I'm like, whoa, this is like kind of the idea of our record where like there's somebody that's trying to reconnect with someone they love in who's still alive. You know what I mean? They're kind of stuck in this, you know, limbo, and that's kind of what the vibe is of the record, you know. And so when I saw that, I was like, this is just amazing. Like this is everything's tying in together. The universe is lining up right.
And I know in support of the album come October, you're actually taking it on the road.
Oh yeah.
So I know you must be pretty stoked for that. Right?
Yeah. We're going out with 6 Year Guns, Emerosa, Ocean's 8 Alaska, and Cane Hill, which is a full package. And I think it's really important to offer people like a real night out. You know, you put together a good package. Like some bands can go out with like 2 bands or something like that. You know, like, but we like to put a nice night out together, and all the bands are awesome. And 6 Year Guns are one of our closest friends, and they are going to party real hard, and they're one of the bands that kind of helps us step up our game. Like when they go on stage and we see them finish, we're like, all right, we have to beat them, and it's really hard because they just go like 110%. And so it's like healthy competition in that way, and them being like really good friends. Like Jesse sang on our last record, and so he'll probably come up and do Young Bloods with us, and no one's seen that yet, so that'll be a really special treat for everyone.
Which songs from the record are you most excited for fans to actually experience and hear live?
Oh man, I think we're gonna play like 5 songs from the new record, which we never do. It's always like we do 2 and then maybe 3 on the next tour, you know. But we're coming out like here's half the record. I think it's just because it's getting such a great response, and we kind of have to we really pay attention to what kids are saying. You know, you don't really let it dictate what we do as a band, but in this case, we see all the songs that they really like, and we're taking that into consideration. So I'm stoked to play all the songs. Like what we're doing, like Walk on Water, Up in Flames, and then 3 others obviously that aren't released yet. Dead Air, I think we released that already, and then so Dead Air will be cool. It's more like a rock ballad, kind of like upbeat ballad type song. So that'll be fun to see if it catches on and people are singing to that. Yeah.
Awesome. When I saw a tweet from you yesterday where you're like, packing for the road, I'm not going to be home until December 15th.
I know, man.
So as far as packing goes, I mean, you've hit the road multiple times in the past.
Yeah.
Quintessential items, what are your go-tos?
Go-to item, okay, it's going to sound pretty lame. There's this like hair product that I like. It's called Bedhead After Party. Okay. And it's in a very suggestive bottle, and so I don't like, it's always awkward bringing it, but it's like perfect carry-on size, and so sometimes you're going through security and they pull it out and you're like,
what is this?
Yeah, but it's just like really good. Like I wish I could get sponsored by Bedhead because I spend so much money on this product. It's just like a cream, gives you like kind of a greasy look, and I just like my hair to look like it hasn't been washed in a week and a half, and so this kind of does that job a little bit quicker. Okay. So yeah, that and pants. I think these jeans. I think everyone asks, where do you get your jeans? Because I've been wearing the same kind of jeans for like the last 8 years or something like that. Just wearing the same skinny jeans with the holes in the holes in the knees, and I wear the same ones off stage as I do on stage. So that's definitely a quintessential item. I think if I went on stage in shorts, everyone would be a bit confused. So yeah.
Something I love is how Blessthefall have everything merch-wise, from caps to skateboard decks.
Oh, yeah.
So for yourself, when you kind of reflect back on shows that you used to go to or even recent ones, what's one of your most treasured pieces of merch that you've actually got from a show?
Oh, man. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Since I haven't, been to, been in that vibe to where I went to a show and got merch kind of thing in a long time, it's going to take a bit to, think back about it. What was it? Probably, You know what? It's funny because Blink's my favorite band ever, all-time favorite, and I don't think I ever bought a piece of merch at a Blink show. Is that weird? That's really weird. Yeah. So I think, but I've saved all my ticket stubs. So I think, it's not really merch, but I think those are my most treasured items that remind me of the show. Are like my Blink. I have my first Blink-182 show tickets of 1997, and that is my most treasured item from a show. Or what I didn't buy it, but I bought the ticket. But I think at the time I just didn't have money to get merch. I'd just scrape up enough to go to a show, and I'd go to a show and like lose my mind. Take it all in. Yeah. No camera phones.
No.
Yeah.
Does that annoy you at shows? Is that kind of, it's like take a photo, maybe put it down? I'm just wondering what your vibe is on.
Yeah. That's another good question. I think it's sort of like a necessary evil at sometimes. It's like if you're overdoing it, you're overdoing it.
Yeah.
And but I think we're all kind of like used to it by now. I think at first it was definitely a lot worse when someone was like up front just like holding their camera, and I'm like
watching it through the actual
like just but now it's kind of like, well, it's going to go online and people are going to see what they missed out on, so it's kind of like, is that like a necessary evil? Like, it helps spread the word and stuff like that, and people want to save memories of the show. So it is what it is. I'm not going to be the old guy and like be like all bitter about it. I'm just going to be like, okay, take your video, take your photos, and then maybe put it away and have some fun.
Something I wanted to bring up is how you and Lights had your first adorable child,
yes,
Rocket, a year and a half ago. So when it comes to actually, getting in the mindset and the mind space for touring, how's that affected you? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of it has affected the writing of the last record.
Yes.
In that, when I'm in Europe and I can't see them, I can't go home for a day off or whatever. It's like I go into kind of a depression where it's just like I get super bummed out, and it's it's tough. It's really tough, and I'm already thinking about it now. It's like 3 weeks away, but I'm just like, okay, like I start trying to like mentally prepare myself.
Yeah.
But it's a bummer, man, and I think when she gets a little older, she'll be able to come out and tour with us,
that'd be amazing.
and hang out with the boys, which she's been out for a couple days before, but she does great. She's a tour baby, and she loves the bus. She runs up and down the aisles and crawls under the bunks, and she's a great tour baby. So she gets a little bit older, she'll be coming out with Dad for a week or two at a time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Going into this interview, I actually asked our readers and fans if they had questions for you.
Oh, sweet.
And one thing that I loved that they wanted to know is having both parents who are so involved in music and extremely talented at it, which records have you actually been playing for her?
Oh man, well, we play our own records for her all the time. if it's her and I in the car, I'm just like blasting my own record. I've been blasting that record since I've gotten the like rough mixes, you know what I mean? And sometimes she'll like take the blanket and start covering her ears. I'm like, sorry, I turn it down. But it's funny because someone gave us like Blink-182 lullabies at one point, and we used to play that for her when she was really young, and it was just like it sounded like a music box, but with Blink-182 songs, which is really cool. But no, she listens to whatever we're listening to, like whatever we got on at the time, and she's starting to she sees, because Lights brings out a little recording interface, like her laptop and a microphone and things like that. And so she knows what a mic is, obviously. And so she, like last night, for instance, she walked into the other room, picked up the mic, and was just like, na, 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 and she's just singing into it in the room by herself. And we both were like almost lost it.
Really hard
you're like, this is so awesome. And, she's getting it. And, we just want her to be creative, and we want her to latch on to whatever she likes, whatever she, feels like she connects with. We don't want to force her to do music or whatever else. Although she'll be forced to play hockey, there's no choice in that. But but yeah, so it's a blessing, and it's awesome to see her grow and learn.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, just to wrap everything up today, I wanted to mention how it seems your fan base is just ever growing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like little by little every year, I think it grows a bit more, and it's awesome, yeah.
Well, for all of your fans who are going to be actually viewing our interview, is there anything that you'd like to say to them? Any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout-outs. I always shout the fans out on Twitter. They know that. You guys keep us alive. Thank you for all your support, all the old fans that have stuck around, and even the very, very new fans that have just found out about us. You're the reason we can keep playing music every year, so keep it up. We'll see you at a show.
Awesome, and a massive thanks to you for your
of
time
course.
today. It was lovely chatting with you.
Of course, yeah. We're hanging out here next to Tim Hortons. They can't see that, but
no, they can't, but it's pretty great.
I'm craving donuts now.
And for everyone watching, remember you can visit us at amusicblogger.com for all sorts of interviews, features, videos, and so much more with your favorite artists. We'll see you next time.
See ya.